Some brands offer you low finance, or cashback, or servicing.
Renault don't do ors. We do ands. The Renault Kadjar with 1.91% APR and €1,000 cashback and 3 years servicing, saving you thousands. Renault, the brand with the ands. Visit your local Renault dealer. Finance is made under a hire purchase agreement. Terms and conditions apply. Deposit required subject to lending criteria. See Renault.ie.
Right, shut up. Good evening, I'm Norman Pustule Flavour, and this is the 150th annual Quickfire Radio Flange Goblet Award Show. I'm your host, and tonight I'll be doing most of the show up to my ankles in old pudding. Maybe raspberry, maybe banana, who can tell at this height. The first category is Best Topical News Programme, and the nominations are Jerry Jerrington and the North Las Vegas Municipal Courthouse Singers and their show Karaoke News, Leonard Spoongupta and all the producers, their aunts, and a man named Barry who likes to lick sheep. Over it, they call this The News, which is a nightly show that so often concludes with somebody dying. And finally, It's What News? I'm Getting Laid Tonight, hosted by sexual deviants Vanessa Spleen China and Palmita Lip Whippery, who unfortunately could not be with us, as tonight they are tied up in a harness suspended above the M4 being hosed down with tramp sick. And the winner is Leonard Spoongupta for They Call This The News. Come on, Leonard, up you come get the award. Quickly, man, quickly.
Well, of course, this award doesn't really belong to me. It belongs
Well, give it back then.
What?
Give it back, go sit down, the award has been rescinded.
But...
Leonard, don't let me strip you naked, put a racially insensitive billboard in your hand and call security.
Oh, I should give my big mouth.
Right, and so on to the next award. Radio Personality of the Year. Will it be Farmiga Pinchnay's Thrat, Hippett's Main Girdle, or Danny Trink, the Roadworks Goblin? And the winner is... It's Farmiga Pinchnay's Twat, who gets extra points for already being on stage crouched behind our unimpressive cardboard cutout of a very dear friend of Robert Mitchum's. Farmiga, please come and get the award. And your acceptance speech time starts now.
Oh, I have so many people to thank. First of all, thank you, Radio Flange Goblet, because without your support, encouragement, and free lunch biscuits, I'd
hurry if I was you, Farmiga.
All right. I'd also like to thank Eric Yim Turtle, my agent, Carlos Dividing Guts, my manager,
Bad luck, Farmiga. Better luck next year. Well, don't worry, listeners. Paramedics are standing by, and I can see one of them laughing and dipping a French fry into Farmiga's rather sizable head wound, so she's going to be fine in no time. And next up, it's the Al Pacino Award for consistently ridiculous hair and simply not giving a shit, which is awarded every year to person or persons who have shown repeatedly that they just don't care about doing anything properly, and yet remarkably still have a career. And the nominations go to Alan, No Clothes Mel Perotti, Celia, It's My Sandwich Now, You Bastards Dick Hamster, and Alejandro, What Are You Looking At, Puppy Petitita. And the winner is Alan No Clothes Mel Perotti, who has been turning up to these very studios for the last 18 months without any clothes on at all. What an achievement and a distinct sign you have given up on life. Now, of course, Alan could not be with us tonight. Well, no reason actually, he just didn't bother to show up, and so the award will be accepted by the After Movie Diner. That is really good. Oh, no, that's good. That's good. No, get off. Hello, and welcome to yet another episode of the After Movie Diner. Absolutely wonderful to have you all here with us again. Well, you're not here right now. Obviously, you're listening to this on a podcast. Maybe you're halfway up a mountain. Maybe you're on the bus going to work. Who knows where you are? Maybe you're in a barely legal Latvian brothel getting tickled about the scrotum by someone named Henry. Who knows? Who cares? Anyway, you're listening to this. That is wonderful, and I cannot thank you enough. But as always with these kind of things, this doesn't all just happen. It doesn't just all fall out of the sky free of charge and with nothing on your shoulders whatsoever. Oh, no, not indeed. In fact, what I'd like you all to do is do several things. First of all, go rate and review us over on iTunes, Stitcher, and TalkShoe. Wherever you find the ability to rate and review us online, please rate and review us. If you don't want to do that, just share it. If you're on Facebook or Twitter or something, just retweet it if you see it, or Facebook and share it, whatever. Just do something like that if you can't bother to rate and review us, you lazy swine. Anyway, either that or rate and review us, that would be wonderful. We'll do both. That would be fantastic. Anyway, if you wish to support the diner even more, you can go over to www.patreon.com patreon.com, that's patreon.com/aftermoviediner, and sponsor us weekly or whenever the show goes up, or per month, or whatever you want to do. It's absolutely fantastic. So go over to www.patreon.com/aftermoviediner to help the show, to keep the show afloat, and to show your appreciation. That would be absolutely fantastic. And last, I was listening back to some old shows recently and realized we haven't had an email or a voicemail in forever. So please write to us at aftermoviediner@gmail.com, or send us a voicemail either at 347-669-0053 or at www.speakpipe.com/aftermoviediner. That's 347-669-0053 or www.speakpipe.com/aftermoviediner. Or as always, write to us at aftermoviediner@gmail.com. That would be absolutely fantastic. Thank you as always for listening. It really is a treat that so many of you tune in each week, and we're going to continue to try and provide you the very best podcast we can. And now, on with the show.
The most dreaded fear of every woman on Earth is even more horrifying in space. The inconceivable is about to be conceived. Inseminoid.
Are you trying to tell me she's pregnant?
The living miracle of creation is now the deadliest force for destruction.
There's only one way to stop her, and that is to kill her.
Who will survive in the outer world of inner terror? A galaxy where friends become your enemies, nightmares become your life, and life becomes your death. A new generation of adventure is here, and no power on Earth can stop it.
You'll have to come out sometime. There's no other way.
Now, a different kind of alien is about to be born, and the entire universe is its victim. Outer space is expecting the unexpected. Witness the birth of Inseminoid. It is not a blessed event.
All right, hi. Here we are in Louis' Diner on 231st Street up in the Bronx. And we just watched the worst film.
We just watched the film.
Ever made.
We're pretty sure. Well, look, first of all, we did an episode a couple of months back where we did a double bill of British horror films.
I think it was in October. I think it was Horror October,
yes, and it was part of a DVD box set.
Yeah,
and this is the third film in that box set. So we're talking about the same
producer Richard Gordon.
That was him for the producer. He's the link, and it's in the same diner. So we thought, we're going to be, let's give this a spin. And what we saw,
it was called Inseminoid,
and we're pretty sure it's the film that brought down the British film industry.
Yeah, it came out in 1982.
Yeah,
it's a pretty clear Alien ripoff from the get-go.
Hi guys, how are we doing?
Hi, good, thank you.
I think I'm going to get the.
Need a couple more minutes?
Do we need a couple of minutes? I think I know what I want.
Well, I'm good.
Can I get a cup of...
do you have avocado for the omelettes as well?
Yeah.
Could I get a turkey, Swiss, and avocado omelette, please?
Home fries, hash browns, French fries.
Hash browns.
White wheat or white toast?
White, please.
For you, sir?
I'll get waffles.
Waffle?
Waffles with sausage. And a cup of... Have you got any chamomile tea?
Chamomile tea?
A cup of chamomile tea.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very
Thanks so much.
Cheers.
So yeah, we're pretty sure this brought down the British film industry.
It's okay. Look, I'm sitting here with the host of the After Movie Diner, who I happen to know for a fact has seen some of the worst films that have ever been made.
Yeah.
And while he was watching this movie, he was. I mean, he was in pain. It was so.
I was in pain.
You were in pain. You were in mental anguish.
I was in mental
how
anguish.
bad it was.
Yeah, because it made, for me, the moral sin of any like bad movie is when the where there is something that is so obvious that could be done
to solve the problem.
That through sheer stupidity of the characters and idiotically bad manipulative writing,
thank you very much.
Whatever that said thing is, in this case, shoot the mad bitch in the face with the gun.
With the gun.
Right.
That we know you have. We know you have the gun.
Right.
Stop pretending that you don't.
Right.
We saw it.
Yeah. Not only that, but later on, you don't have just one gun, you have two guns. And they're just lying around on the ground. So
they're literally lying on the floor.
So this is the cardinal sin for me is when a movie. I don't mind if a movie is hokey fun, and I don't even mind if a movie takes like a few giant leaps of where you need like a giant leap of faith in order to like buy what's going on. Leaps of logic, right? As long as the logic is roughly within the framework of the story, I'm all right.
Like, even like half believable.
Right. Well, it doesn't even have to be that. Like, as long as like Cleopatra Wong, which is always my like touchstone for this stuff, the fact that it ends with a bunch of bearded guys dressed as nuns fighting over like some mad jam conspiracy, I've got no problem with because that's the rules. Them's the things within the movie and how it's set up. Thanks so much. Right. Whereas in this, right, it's set up. First of all, you don't know who anyone is. It's just a bunch of 70s hairdos. There's some women and some guys, and that's really all there is.
So so only really because the plot is honestly virtually non-existent,
and it's bonkers,
and it's just it is a rip-off of Alien. It's some kind of colony on another planet. It's an archaeological dig on another planet. And
the only guy who knows anything about anything is Mitch, but he
never leaves.
He never leaves the canteen. He's always in the cafeteria. It's Mitch.
So while they're doing the archaeological dig, well, that's it. Actually, that's basically it. They're doing an archaeological dig on another planet. That's all that's going on. During which, as you might imagine, one character comes across something that's really not all that mysterious. In fact, it looks almost exactly like all the other rocks that he's looking at. But for some reason, this one is like blows his mind.
And there's something inexplicable in the corner.
And he has to look at it really closely.
And it explodes on him.
Explodes.
Yeah, we don't really know what explodes.
No.
Or what's going on. At all.
No.
But we figure, just because we know how these things go, that he's probably been infested with alien spores, right?
Right.
The trouble is, though, is that there is no clear...
Yeah, hang on. What's he got to do with anything?
He got alien... The alien thing exploded on him.
Right. But what was the purpose of the alien thing? Because, like, later on...
But that's what I'm saying. What the alien does in every single occasion that he crops up in the movie, there is no strict, like, modus operandi of what the alien's doing. Like, it's not a fight or flight thing. It's not a survival of the fittest thing. Like, whatever the alien does to the human when it infects them is completely random.
It's like whoever wrote it has maybe seen like 3 or 4 alien movies and took a bit from each one.
Right. But
here's a bit where the mysterious alien artifact infects them.
No, it's worse.
Like in John Hurt. But then that's got nothing to do with the actual infection, which is actually like artificial insemination.
It's like 2 really, really, really stupid people.
It's not like it is.
2 really, 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 really stupid people sat down and went, "This alien thing's easy. Let's do this."
Yeah. First of all, the alien artifact will explode on a bloke and drive him mad, and he'll run around.
He'll run around for what seems like
end of that story. Because that's all that happens. He runs around until
she shoots him
with a gun. With a gun, by the way. She shoots him with a gun, and he dies.
I know, but we've missed something else.
The end of it.
But we've missed something else that happened.
Oh my God! Yes.
Right.
You have to talk about it because this is possibly the greatest / worst bit of writing there's ever been in the history of cinema.
No, there are 2 bits in this movie that involve women's ankles that are that even as I describe them, I can't believe I watched them with my own two eyes. That's absolutely fact.
The first one is so
staggering,
beautiful,
right?
Like it's so beautiful.
There is a woman, right? I mean, and they're running around, and like we've said, there's crazy sweaty face who's escaped.
Crazy MacGuffin.
Crazy
MacGuffin McGee.
Yeah, crazy MacGuffin face is running around just wildly and like
with no purpose.
Hilariously, like utterly hilariously.
But you can tell while he's running, he's deeply humiliated.
You have to imagine an early, like it's worse than a 1970s Doctor Who episode. It's actually
much worse.
Right,
much worse.
So I don't know what's going on there. So I'm confused and scared, quite frankly.
So anyway,
we just saw crawl out of the employees only thing and climb into the toilet. Anyway,
it's going to be a two-parter.
Anyway, dozy woman running around outside. Everyone's watching her on the monitors, which is one of the most tedious devices in the film. Gary. Right?
Gary on the monitor.
She gets her ankle a little bit trapped.
No.
Under a flappy bit
she gets
of wood.
shoved by Crazy
MacGuffin face. Right.
Crazy MacGuffin McGee shoves her a bit.
Yeah.
And she falls over and traps her foot a bit.
A bit. Not even a lot.
Not a lot.
Just a bit.
It looks more like her boot is like caught in something.
A little bit.
Her boot is caught in something.
Flappy mess.
Something else happens. It's not entirely clear, but anyway, she's in a bit of minor
what happens is,
minor peril, right?
What
and
happens
her suit
is,
doesn't work properly.
The trapping of her ankle causes the air to no longer work in her suit.
That's right, yes.
Or something, right? So out of nowhere, by the way, we've had no explanation of who any of these people are or what.
Or how any of it works.
Or any of it works.
Or even does she need a helmet outside? Or
are they outside? Are they inside? Where are they?
Wait,
this changes throughout the movie.
Don't forget, she gets told what to do very specifically.
By Gary, who's on the monitors, who
very clear, and possibly the only time in the movie is clear and informative.
Couldn't look less bothered by what's going on, by the way. I mean, he literally looks like he's just stepped out of his.
But he gives her a very
at this point, it would be
instructions.
British Home Stores.
Yeah, it would be
V-neck sweater modelling.
He does look like he wants to be looking off into the distance.
Yeah,
for sure.
So he's there, and he's like, she's got a watch device on her wrist, and he's shouting very clearly, "Attach the blue and yellow wire."
By the way, that's it.
That's it.
That's what she has to do.
Attach the blue and yellow wire. And she's trying to do it with, admittedly, a cumbersome space glove. But still, it's a watch device with a blue and yellow wire.
And all she has to do is attach them.
Attach them.
And
just rub them together.
And
just do whatever she has to do.
Completely freaks out.
Yeah, she gives up. She's like, I can't do it.
I can't do it.
Can't do it. I can't do it.
It cannot be done. She asserts.
Meanwhile, by the way, she's running out of air. Right. So I at least would attempt it. I mean, just on a serious.
Give it a go.
No, she's got a better idea.
She does have a much.
Do you know what a much better idea? Do you know what her idea is? This is absolutely true. Gary is saying, "Come on, you woman."
Yeah.
That's what he says.
Yeah.
Attach the blue to the yellow wire,
and you'll be fine. You will literally be fine.
You will be fine. We're sending someone out there. We're having a bit of difficulty with the doors, which, by the way, we never solve and never have that problem again. But for the moment,
for some reason, we can't leave.
We can't leave.
We don't know why.
But the moment we can leave, we'll be out there. Just attach the blue.
Don't worry about it. You put the blue and yellow wires together, and we will be with you momentarily.
She says it cannot be done.
It can't be done. Can't be done.
So she leaps from plan A all the way to plan what the fuck, right the other end of the alphabet. And she quite reasonably asserts, instead of attaching the blue and yellow wire in my clock device, I'm going to saw off my foot. I'm not even kidding. With a space chainsaw, I'm going to saw off my foot.
We couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe it.
I don't know, take your glove off, love, and have a go. Like, that's plan B, right? I'll take the glove off. I might, not be able to breathe momentarily, but I can't breathe anyway, so
anyway, that's the problem.
She thinks I'll saw my own foot off.
Which, by the way,
Doesn't work.
doesn't work.
Kills her.
Doesn't work. She's dead. Because the problem, by the way, is not. Lest we forget, the problem is not that she can't move, right? It's way down the list of like problems that are coming her way, right? Top of the list is 5-10 seconds you're not going to be able to breathe. That's the problem.
Right.
Not that you can't move.
Right. We'll figure out the can't move.
Blue and yellow wires.
Down the road.
We'll do that later on.
Right.
Later on.
Right. But this is a movie which is not content with that idiocy. Later on in the movie,
It's nowhere near content.
when again,
It's nowhere near finished
in fact,
with its
it
idiocy.
stared into the cold dead eyes of that stupidity and went, can we have some more of that, please?
Can I have some more, please?
For the next
Script writing.
90 minutes.
Oh my god.
To say that this is also true. Later on in the movie, different person infected with alien beastie, again running around generally being mad, chasing another said idiotic woman up a flight of reasonably easily traversable steps.
They're just stairs. They're not collapsing, they're not moving, they're not like crazy space stairs.
They're not
just stairs.
Just stairs, right? She trips up them a little bit. We've all been there. We've all tripped upstairs just a little bit.
We've all felt a little bit silly.
Right. She, on the other hand, can't move. Has to be dragged in by two other people, then has her ankle bandaged up. This takes up like 10 minutes of screen time.
She doesn't fall down. Look, maybe we're not being clear here. She doesn't fall down the stairs. You know what I mean? She just misses a step.
She just trips up a little bit.
She just trips up a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Maybe she can't move.
Maybe dents her shin just a little. Maybe bruises her shin.
A little bit. Maybe they are metal stairs.
Yeah.
They are quite sharp.
I'll give him bruised shin.
Bruised shin over.
I'd even give him a slight abrasion on the shin area.
Question. They can have a bruised shin.
Right.
They can take that bruised shin and run narratively with it as far as they want to go. But what the fuck is wrong with their ankle?
They decide instead to have a long, cumbersome, as if they're like alien woman beastie on the loose isn't peril enough. Let's make these stairs
because it isn't. By the way, it really isn't peril enough.
This alien beastie, like the first male alien beastie that we saw at the beginning of the thing, can easily be stopped by a bullet to the chest, which they could get out of any of the guns that are just lying around the space.
Just going back a little bit, because we wouldn't want to lose you in this narrative labyrinth that they've constructed.
Of ankle problems.
After Captain should clearly never be allowed on any space mission.
Oh, yeah,
psychologically speaking, what are your problem-solving skills?
Token American bird, that's what she was. She was token American captain.
Token American lady, who is... And listen, I'm sure she's a lovely person.
Right.
I am. Right? Or maybe she's not. Maybe she's a cat. But I'm sure she's very nice.
I think it was Jennifer Ashley.
Jennifer Ashley is... I'm willing to go down on record here as saying that Jennifer Ashley is the worst actress in the history of acting. Not just cinema, right? No. Acting. All commercials, cinema.
You could have inflated a rubber dinghy, drawn a smiley face on it, stuck maybe a wig on it.
That would at least have had the benefit of being mysterious. You spent the first 2 minutes going, why is the lead character a rubber dinghy with a wig on it? Right? After a while we realised we'd been jeeped it, but at least for those 10 minutes.
You could have crudely drawn a face on a paper plate and stuck it to a broom handle.
And it really would have been better.
Yeah, definitely. That's amazing. Right. Thank you so much.
Lovely.
Look at that.
Welcome.
Smashing. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers. So yeah, utterly bungled. So the other bit of brilliant dialogue, which involved said
what about the
woman, was when the worst. Now we've encountered on the on the Stranded episode, where we talked about a Christian Slater movie. Oh, thank you. We have encountered our fair share of lousy space doctors.
Yes.
Like doctors who
and we unwisely
business.
Made the assertion at the time that he was probably the worst doctor in space.
No, we may have met our match on this one.
Yeah.
Right.
We may have spoken
This is an actual line of dialogue. Comes through, she goes, how's Sandy? Like,
first of all, this is a man who his surgery consists of one chair.
Right.
It doesn't matter how sick you are, he will not put you in a bed.
No.
You are going to be sitting in that chair. Probably near other.
And the best thing he can do, as far as I can figure it, is sedate you or hop you up on barely legal drugs.
By the way, if you do witness a traumatic event involving one of your crew members being torn to pieces by an alien, he may park that dead, ripped up body right next to you when you wake up. So when you wake up, it will be there.
But He walks in. The captain is looking at photographs so intently, even though there's a woman in her care who is like utterly...
Also, what are these photos? What could possibly be more important than the madness that's unfolding around?
Right, but no. So she's in the medical bay. She doesn't care about it. She comes in and almost annoyed. She's like, "What do you want?"
What do you want?
To the doctor.
Have you got? What have you got? Information.
I've got no time for
Things I need to know.
I've got no time for your things. So anyway, she says to her, "Oh, how's Sandy?" He goes, "Sandy's all right."
But she's fine. She's fine.
She's fine.
She's fine.
And as long... There's a caveat. She's fine, but there's a caveat. She's fine as long as I keep her sedated.
As long as she's permanently sedated, she's fine.
Then he goes on to say, "Oh, and you know that mark that the dude had on his face who was all infected by the alien and ran around the thing?
And went mad.
She's also got one of them.
She's got that. Apart from that...
And the constant sedation.
Yeah, apart from, in my limited understanding of what's happening, apart from the fact that she's doomed... She's fine. She's fine. Don't worry. But his best line,
don't worry
by
about
a mile,
it. Don't worry
by a
about
mile, her best line is when they ask what's wrong with her, and she says, "Well, I believe she's literally been scared out of her senses." And Crosby goes, "That's not a thing. That's not a thing."
If you mean
being literally,
she's in shock,
she's in shock,
that's
which is the medical. Unless in the future they stop saying she's in shock and they start saying she's literally
been scared out of her senses,
which is not a phrase.
No,
except I just made it up.
No, and the other thing is she hasn't because she wakes up, she goes, "I'm a bit thirsty."
Yeah, can I have some drink? Also, I feel a bit queasy. Yeah. Although one of my favourite bits, which is quite early on in the movie, and I think you missed, is when Crazy MacGuffin McGee is running around. He bumps into, he's being like chased by another bloke, and he bumps into like a shelf full of like storage supplies. And the storage supplies like fall on top of the guy's head, and he rolls around like holding his head.
No, I saw that.
But like,
I was laughing at it.
Right, because what's happening is there's no peril. Like it's supposed to be peril, right? But all he's really doing is going, "Oh, that really hurts." Oh, that was nasty.
Caused a slight dent on his orange sweatshirt.
Yeah, that box fell. Did you see that? It fell right on my head. That really. I'm not kidding. That was really painful. And this is the level.
Also, throughout the entire movie, right, every plan they have.
Oh my god.
To take down anyone infected by alien spore, whatever it is.
Oh, we skipped past the fact, just very quick.
Well, no, we'll talk about that in a second.
Oh, okay.
That every single plan that they have is run at it. I'm going to go on spasmodically. I mean, just like you were flinging a wet cloth.
Like you were 10 years old and you were in a school play about an alien attack. And on the first night, you were a bit nervous and had to run towards the alien. Yeah. This is how you would run.
Like a school play about someone who had to wave some handkerchiefs. That's really what the level was. At one point, he came up to her with some cables and just went, like, it wasn't literally... I mean, a 10-year-old child could wield the cables with more authority.
I would have to say the stunt work was uniformly the worst I've ever seen. Every punch obviously didn't hit. Every time they hit the woman or the alien or Crazy MacGuffin McGee with anything, they were obviously not hitting him. And so I got to the point where their plans were affected because they had to... Obviously the plan is, well, I've got this big heavy thing. I'm going to hit the alien over the head with a big heavy thing. But because we don't have the requisite stunt work, I'm going to have to miss. Even though it's 3 feet away and doesn't move, I'm still going to have to miss.
Yeah. Oh, there was also the classic bit where Crazy MacGuffin McGee at the beginning hit him very wetly on the arm, and then his arm... stopped him from moving at all for a moment.
It was stunned. It was given a dead arm.
Yeah, not even a dead arm. A slight raise. Or not even that. A waft. The only way to describe the punches in this is a waft.
I would seriously be investigating.
How is everything, you guys?
Oh, it's lovely. That's very great. Thank you.
I would seriously investigate the standards by which these people were allowed to leave the institution. Do you know what I mean? Like they shouldn't be allowed into the real world.
Halfway through the
movie,
movie,
their problem-solving capabilities
are awful.
I mean, just
you could put a bunch of PE teachers on a moon base, and they would probably succeed more than these people.
I couldn't agree
more. And as we all know,
and they probably come back with more archaeological evidence.
Well, because they kill off Mitch, who's the only one who knows anything, in the first
That's right.
5 minutes.
Crossy Speckler, because only Mitch was the only one who could act.
Right.
And Crossy Speckler, the reason that he was hardly in it and got killed off is they couldn't afford his talent. That's the only explanation.
It's the only explanation.
Which is true.
So, taking a cue from like Life Force and Alien and various other movies, there is a big moment which I thought was going to be like the saving grace of the movie and turned out to, just lead to more running about.
There was a Doctor Who level of running in this movie.
I don't...
But actually, I've a new...
There aren't
respect.
words for crap that have been invented.
I will say, I now have a new respect for the running that they do in Doctor Who, because I'd always previously been led to believe that running was a pretty easy thing to do.
No.
But according to this movie, it's a real challenge to run.
They made
not
Steven
look like an
Seagal
idiot.
look like Daley Thompson.
They did.
Right.
In fact, if the review appeared on the front of the DVD, make Steven Seagal look like Daley Thompson, I wouldn't be unhappy with that.
No, I think that would be a fairly accurate description.
Because it's totally irrelevant.
It is. Totally
and completely pointless, much like the movie.
So, at a certain point, the woman who is credited on the front of the movie as and so as Sandy, right?
Right. So we're expecting big things from Sandy.
Things from her.
And to be fair,
she gives it the beans. She gives it the welly.
Absolutely everything she's got. And I mean, in circumstances...
And Judy Geeson as Sandy.
When every other member of the cast had long since given up, by the looks of most of them, before filming even began, right? She was giving absolutely everything. Even though what she's required to do is give birth to aliens.
Right.
The scene where she gives birth to the aliens is...
Proper sick.
I've got to... I mean, first of all, it was really disturbing.
Well, hang on a second.
But her screaming was really, really awful.
Yeah.
In a good way.
It was to the cheap seat beans. Like she was belting it out.
Everything.
She gave it some welly like no one else. I haven't seen that kind of joyous overacting since Brian Blessed in Everything.
I don't think she was... That's the thing. I don't think she was overacting. I think she thought, well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to have to go all in because I'm giving birth to painful aliens here. And so she did. Like, first of all, I feel for this woman because I'm guessing she didn't realise that in every scene that she screamed, you could see every single filling in her teeth.
Right. You
She
think
must have been mortified.
that when taken over by alien spawn, the fillings will probably turn into space fillings or something.
Yeah.
But she also is required to like be glittery and naked and swirly while being impregnated by what can only be described as a jukebox-sized, triangular-headed, mad rubber alien thing.
Yeah.
And creepy doctor face man with a
Yeah,
syringe.
what the fuck was that about? Because that was never
Explained.
explained.
No.
He crops up in that while she's... Anyway, one of the women, while running from Crazy MacGuffin McGee, gets cornered by the alien, knocked out, and impregnated by the alien in a particularly disgusting sequence. Right, when Mitch is killed. In a particularly horrifying sequence, gets impregnated by the alien.
Right.
And Dr. Bloke is there. And me and Crossy, foolishly, are waiting for this to turn into some kind of,
No.
plot point. No, he just gets killed.
Later on.
Later on, yeah.
Just like everyone else does.
Yeah.
So, crazy kind of weird, hallucinogenic, pretty cool actually.
Yeah, Lady Gaga.
Sequence where she gets impregnated by the alien, which big rubbery triangular-headed thing with a long tube device that goes right up her bits,
Right up.
and then like pumps kind of like egg-shaped things into her, which is pretty grotesque.
Yeah.
In a sort of green slime.
Yeah.
Right. Then she wakes up. She's fine for a while. Then she goes a bit mental, and this is where it doesn't make any sense, because her modus operandi seems to be after that kill people and eat them.
Yeah, that's what she's doing. She's killing them and she's eating.
Even after she gives birth to the alien babies.
Yeah.
Right? Which doesn't make any sense, right? Also, she leaves the alien babies alone to run around the caves of this moon base.
See, this is the problem with the movie.
Screaming at people and killing people, which allows, quite reasonably, these other two characters, for reasons unknown to them, to pick up the mutant twin David Lynch-looking alien baby spawn, coddle them in like some sort of space blanket.
Yeah.
Take them back to a room.
Yeah.
Leave it with a woman by herself. Just
Right.
leave it by. Just keep the door shut, will you, Barbara? And then off they go.
Oh, by the way, no, he says to the two women, just make sure you lock the door.
Right.
Then he leaves. Then
Right.
one of the women goes, oh, I'm off too. She leaves. Woman with the baby sits in the corner. Doesn't even bother locking the door.
No.
This is the level we're talking about here.
So
By the way, we just skipped over. And the reason we have is because
it's endless running.
it's endless running. Because what happens is, for the whole, middle 45 minutes of the movie,
interminable.
is impregnated woman running around, and this is what drove us Barney, running around, killing and eating the crew. Now that sounds much cooler than it is.
Right.
Because there's only like 6 people left, right? So she only does it to about 2 of them. And, more importantly, any single one of them could at any point shoot her in the head.
Right.
At any point.
We have evidence in the movie
Yes, we do.
that shooting person when infected by alien beastie kills them dead.
Yes.
We have that evidence.
Yes,
It's
we do.
in the movie.
Yes.
Right. They have guns because they crop up again later in the movie.
Yes.
At no point do they say, let's get guns. In fact,
No.
there's one scene where they're all in a control room,
Yeah.
which is really just a black soundstage in Cleethorpes or somewhere, like Walton on the Naze, with literally some cardboard painted with colours to represent a
computers,
computer.
yeah.
Right? Where they sit around and go, we've got to kill her. How are we going to kill her? We can't kill her. She's too strong.
No.
to be killed." Then
So-
she goes,
no,
"We can't kill her."
because what they say is, we need to kill her, let's use chainsaws, to which someone says, she's too strong.
Right.
For chains, no evidence.
For space
she's too
chainsaws.
strong for chainsaws.
For space chainsaws, yeah.
Space chainsaws.
Also, right, they then go, well, how about explosives, right?
Yeah.
Then
Again,
someone else says...
these
and
people
he-
need to learn what a plan B is.
Right.
You don't jump from what should we do to, well, let's blow the place up.
Right.
When there's guns. There's
Right.
just guns.
Then she goes, well, could you sedate her while I use a heat lance on her? And I'm like, listen, lady, guns. It's been established at the beginning of the movie. They'll crop up again later in the movie. Just use the gun.
It's all about the less moving parts there are, the more likely it is to go right. You sedate her and I'll. Right there, too many moving parts. There doesn't need to be an and to this plan.
No.
You shoot her in the head, full stop.
Full stop.
Yeah.
End of the movie.
End of the plan.
End of the plan.
End of the movie.
End of the movie.
End of the movie, end of the plan.
Done.
Off we go.
Done. Tell you what, we'll add something to that. Shoot her in the head and the chest, just to be sure.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Why not be sure? Why not?
Instead, at one point, he puts a suede shoe on her stomach. That's about the most.
Yeah, that's what he
that
does. And then, by the way,
runs away.
yeah,
every
he
time.
runs away.
Every
Because
time.
she's in incredible amounts of pain. Obviously, what's going on? He's smart enough, this
Right.
lad, to know that stepping on the stomach causes her pain because of the pregnancy.
Right.
Right?
At one point,
Just keep doing it.
at one point,
Just keep doing it.
at one point, he binds her with the extinguisher. Right.
Oh, by the way, which doesn't go anywhere near her eyes.
Doesn't go anywhere near
Doesn't
her
go-
eyes.
because they couldn't afford something that you could fire into somebody's eyes but wouldn't
Right.
blind them.
So, blinds her with the extinguisher. She's clearly stood there, hands over her eyes, screaming. Does he go up behind her and hit her with a lead pipe, shoot her with a gun, chainsaw her in half, anything like that?
In fact,
he runs
I believe
away.
he drops the gun
Yeah,
and runs away.
He does, drops everything, runs away. And they do that constantly.
They're constantly
They
dropping
have,
the gun and
at
running
one
away.
point, 3 of them have her cornered. They all drop their weapons and fuck off. At one-
Oh, except one of them keeps hold of a hammer.
Right.
She's thinking, I can only, clearly, for some reasons unknown only to me, I can only carry one weapon
like a
during my
computer
run.
game.
Shall I keep the hammer or
Or
shall
the
I
gun.
keep the gun?
Yeah, no.
She chooses the
Not
hammer.
only that, she drops the gun.
But she uses
and
the hammer very
alien-
wisely later.
Yeah, she drops the gun, right by the alien woman.
That's right.
So the alien woman is perfectly able to pick it up and shoot somebody.
Even
with
the
it.
alien woman, who's obviously not thinking clearly,
Right.
right? Because she's in extraordinary pain, she's been taken over by another organism,
Right.
all kinds of mad things are going on. Even she knows that's a gun.
Pick
I'll
up the
pick
gun.
it up.
Uh-huh.
I can kill people with it.
Yeah.
Even she knows.
And she has super strength.
Right.
and likes eating people's stomachs.
My favourite bit with the hand.
Later on in the movie, one of our lead heroes, the hero by the way, is incapacitated by a slight nibble on the side of his knee.
She bites his leg, and he passes out. And not because, oh yeah, well the bite's infused with, but no. She nibbles on his leg a bit.
Slight nibble.
A slight nibble, and he passes out. These people are palpably unfit for space travel. You know what I mean?
Not only that.
How did they even get to the planet with that exploding?
Not only that, but the movie ends, we breathe a sigh of relief because, surprise, surprise, alien baby chews on woman that was
That's
left
right.
in
They come back to the room, and the alien babies have killed the woman, and we're supposed to be surprised.
Right.
Like, oh no!
We were like, why
would
did
have
you
thought
pick up
it?
the alien baby?
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah, just leave them or burn them.
then there
At
was
best, knock them over there.
Then there was the bit where he planted explosives everywhere.
Everywhere.
Right? She comes at him, he just drops the detonator,
Drops the
runs
detonator and
away.
keeps running.
Right?
Another example of the
Another
time
example
of
of just
drop the weapon
and fuck
drop
off.
the plan and run.
She then goes around and really quickly picks up every single bomb, right? And for no reason at all.
They're really small, like
Right.
they're really tiny bombs
Right.
that he's hidden in a. And in a minute and a half flat,
She's picked
got
them all
all
up.
of them.
She then puts all of them round
A door.
this badly painted door, blows them all up.
Yeah.
Why?
I'll tell you why.
Then
I'll
she,
tell you
then
why.
she pushes the
It's
computer
very
over.
important that she pushes the computer over.
Yeah.
There's nobody in this room. No. Right?
Nothing happens because she pushes the computer over. They don't push the computer over and everyone go, oh no, we can't breathe because we've killed the oxygen or anything like that. That never happens.
Right.
Just push the computer over. Why? I don't know. And not only that, but it was so funny, she pushed the prop over. They hadn't even bothered to put any wires inside the prop. It was just an empty
It
box.
was obviously just an empty box.
Just an empty box.
And if that wasn't bad enough, like
Staggering.
if they hadn't tortured us enough, they then stick on
Oh yeah. Then there's this whole 10-minute epilogue
like a 10-minute epilogue
featuring the
during
blandest
which-
man with a cowboy hat
during
you've ever
which,
seen
like
in your
people
life.
wander around, like the complex,
Right.
And it's supposed to be like, ooh, and it's like it's like the beginning of a movie where you're supposed to go, oh, I wonder what happened here. But instead, they stuck at the end of the movie where me and Crossy go, what are you doing? We know what happened.
Right.
We just watched it.
I thought the movie had
Oh,
started.
what are they
all
going to find? We know what they're going to find. They're going to find aliens.
I thought the movie had started all over again.
Oh, yeah, we thought we might have been in hell.
And we were going to be
Yeah.
on a perpetual loop of terrible 80s British sci-fi movies. Not only that, but the epilogue had so many new
So
characters
long, I know.
and new spaceships and everything, that you could have cut that right, and ploughed all the money that you'd spent on this hiring 3 more actors, all of which had speaking roles, right?
Yep, good point.
And their costumes and everything, because they had all new spacesuits and everything. Their
had
spacesuits
a
weren't the
ship.
same way. They had a ship, spacesuits, everything, right?
Yeah, the only real special effect in the whole movie with them, I mean, I know it was pretty cheap, but
Right.
the
Them
whole
flying over the
thing
moon.
coming into land.
Could have cut all that. Totally irrelevant.
It could be like half the budget of the movie in that like 10 minutes. I mean, the whole movie was pointless, but
You could
what I
have
don't
plowed
get
that in.
is spend that money on the suit and have the alien running around killing people.
Right.
Nobody wants to see a pregnant woman killing everybody.
Not even that pregnant.
Not even that pregnant.
No, just flapping her arms about.
Yeah, just running around, bumping into people, causing them, irreparable physical damage through the time-honoured alien medium of bumping.
All of them looked like extras that would even be out of place in Coronation Street. I mean,
They were all unbelievably awful.
except Stephanie Beacham, who was isn't she a fairly well-known actress? Stephanie Beacham in England? Wasn't she in something?
She was like, she was kind of like in a soap, I think.
I know the name.
Maybe. I think she was sort of
There's
like
no one else of any note in this movie at all.
no. And
If they had any careers, it's been long
they're a
lost.
disgrace. They're a disgrace. Everybody involved in this movie isn't. I mean, the point is that nobody,
Right.
from the very top to right to the very bottom, could be bothered.
No one. I'm pretty
None of them
sure
could be bothered.
that Putnam and Richard Attenborough and some other leading lights in the British film industry at the time, I'm pretty sure sat round and wept when they were at a screening of this.
It's so bad
Right.
there is something about like what happened to Britain in the 70s. Like I'm not like being, but there's like they talk about like the British car industry collapsing in the late 70s because everything they made was like shonky and they couldn't really be bothered and it was all a bit crap.
Right.
And that's exactly what this movie is.
Right.
Everything about it is crap, and not in a like a charming, pleasing. At least everybody's trying. Like everybody's giving it a go, and you know everybody involved, everybody acting in it knows that they're slumming it. Right? They know they're slumming. It's not a big break for any of them. None of them are really giving it anything. You know, like it's not like these B movies where
I feel like they're so much worse than the movie, even though the movie's really bad. But like the movie is slumming it by having those actors in it. Do you know what I mean?
You're right. Everybody is slumming it.
Everyone, including the non-existent movie.
But there's
no excuse for it. There's absolutely no excuse.
Do you know what I mean? Like, again, not being like too pretentious, but while I was watching, I did think, I wonder if this is indicative of like that malaise that happened in England in the late 70s. Right. Everything just kind of like fell to pieces. Nobody could really be bothered anymore.
Also, it's absolutely staggering because it's throughout B movies. It's absolutely staggering that people looked at Alien and went, we can do that. Because I can't tell you how many, like, absolutely shonky Alien rip-offs. They should have watched Alien, right? Looked at the budget of £3.50 and some clothing deals with British home stores, and they should have gone, yeah, let's not do it. Let's not do it. Let's do a film about some people who sit around a bit.
Yeah.
Because that's probably
this might explain costume dramas, I suppose.
Right.
They've already got the costumes.
Yeah.
They've been sitting around for 50 years. We'll just use them.
Yeah, BBC.
And they all, you know, none of them. Nobody's heart is in it at all.
No.
Nobody cares.
No.
Nobody cares enough to say, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. That's ridiculous. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about a better idea.
No one's had a conversation at all.
Yeah, no one's talked to anybody. Two people in a room making this film, if they'd actually talked to each other, could have come up with a better idea. No question.
They've gone, maybe she's a bit creepy if we make her face a bit sweaty.
And green.
And if she cries
They made it green. They did make her face green.
But they kept doing stuff, like even though they knew she had been overtaken by an alien beastie, when they came across her, they started like stroking her hair and holding her hand and going,
yeah, world's most useless nurse.
Yeah.
Right, whose entire training consists of treating people like frightened 6-year-olds. There, dear, come back. Come back, there. What are you talking about? She's been attacked by an alien.
Yeah. The only thing you've just discussed it in the room. Kill her.
Don't tell me she's 2 months pregnant. Yes, she is. Let's not talk about that again.
Yeah.
Let's not speculate as to what that might mean. No, but you know what I mean? There's no scenes where, like, even in the worst B movie, people go, okay, let's stop for this and let's talk about what's going on, right? What we think it means, right? And what our plan's going to be.
There was the scene where Mrs. Jumps to Wild Conclusions came up with a reason what might the spores or the crystals.
He's holding a handful of crystals, and he goes, "There's still something about these crystals that I don't understand." And she says, "Well, maybe they're a food source for a creature we don't know."
End of it. Yeah.
Is that what you think when you pick up strange crystals?
Right.
Maybe it's the food source.
And at no point she ever turns around and goes, you know what? Maybe this is that creature I was thinking about earlier.
You know what?
Never comes back up.
No. It's all like It's almost as if it was a 60-page script written by 60 different people, 60 different idiots.
Yeah.
Because none of it connects, none of it makes any sense.
I think it might be the planet where Blue Peter Presenter's going to die.
You know what? It wouldn't surprise me if they said, and this is the purgatory for Blue Peter presenters who, you know...
Didn't make the grade.
Yeah, they didn't make the grade, or, I don't know, they kicked a tortoise or something, do you know what I mean? They were really pissed off on set one day, they kicked a tortoise, and they were banished to the far archaeological moon, where they were... Because that's what they were.
That's what they were. They were... I mean, I don't know how
You know what? No, I tell you about Blue Peter presenters are at least enthusiastic.
Yeah. To call them idiots is an insult to idiots.
Yeah, the spacefaring idiots go.
At one point, I described
out of the space dock without crashing. No, I don't even believe that. I don't believe they got into a ship and took it to another planet without exploding at some point along the way.
Also, at no point did they think to get in their ship and fly away.
Yes, why didn't they get in the ship?
It was at this point that the MP3 recorder that I usually use in such circumstances stopped working. It was completely empty. I'd already emptied it, but it was saying that it was full. and I don't understand how that's possible. I've deleted everything that was on it, and it says it only has 50 seconds left in its memory. So I don't know what happened there, but we lost the end of our conversation. So James had this idea that we would call, using his phone, the voicemail of the After Movie Diner, so that we would end up the show as we walked to the bus stop where James is going to get the bus home. So what you're about to hear now is the result of that to kind of round out this show. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this episode for what it was. And we've got lots more great episodes coming up in March. So please keep listening, and thanks very much.
All right, so here we are. We're outside, having left the diner. So we just wanted to wrap up and say that, well, on a personal note, I'm very glad I watched that film, because I think that really is the worst film I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the worst film I've ever seen, but it's like high up there. And what it really does is it just contains that thing that drives me nuts personally, which is the inexplicably badly written, endless chase scene thing that really doesn't justify itself. Like, there's no suspending disbelief at this point. It's just worthless shite. And there was, like, I was watching it and I was thinking, well, you know, the lighting here is a bit interesting, and I was thinking, like, some of the cave scenes were nicely lit, and there was that bit with the impregnation sequence that was kind of a bit surreal and a bit disco music video, and I thought, oh yeah, that's pretty good. But, like, overall, it's not enough to recommend it for anyone whatsoever. Don't bother going near Inseminoid from 1982 at all.
No, I would agree, and I'd have to say, even if we've made it sound interesting, that was accidental.
Yeah.
Because our intention was to mock. And in fact, what we'd like to do is instill fear in you. So when you see the title Inseminoid, you'll take an involuntary step back.
Right.
It was so bad.
Imagine someone with Farrah Fawcett hair slightly tripping up some stairs. That's the whole movie.
Yeah.
In a nutshell.
Yeah. They think that's suspense. People making a film who raised money, who stood in front of people with money and said, please can we have your money to make a film? Or there's somebody spraining their ankle, not even that seriously, running up some stairs. It's worse of a film. Because, let's face it, it isn't. But I'm honoured to have watched it with you, because I feel like I have learned something.
Yeah, what we've learned is the British film industry was killed by its own grubby, inactive hand.
Yeah, it was murdered by Inseminoid, and not even in an exciting way.
No, it was murdered by the sheer nonchalance of the V-neck.
Just like Stephanie Beecham, Inseminoid threw a hammer at the British film industry monster and missed.
Yeah. Sort of just a little bit flippantly, and a bit awkward. I thought she was standing over it with the hammer.
Yes, I thought she was
swung it,
being cut,
it was going to hit it, and instead it cut. You just saw this sort of slightly tiny rubber hammer just kind of fly by the end.
Yeah, right, because it looked like she was standing over it, and then it cut, and then actually she's like 5 feet away, and she wasn't swinging the hammer at it, she was throwing the hammer.
Anyway, this is a bit of a shonky ending to the episode, which kind of suits it because Inseminoid is a bit shonky.
Yeah.
But just don't watch it. It's awful. Thanks so much for watching the movie with me, Jim. It was really
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me.
And I hope this works. If it does, I'll call you tomorrow.
Okay, cool. Oh, well, thanks very much, man. That was really fun.
Yeah, had a good time, man.
Cheers. Bye.
Inseminoid, Inseminoid, man, you got me so annoyed. You had a set, you had some actors, but now you have us 2 detractors. To save yourself a cinematic crime, you could have spent just a little time working out a plot point or 2. Doesn't seem that hard to do. You had to choose a motive for your monster, spend a little longer on your casting, keep the action and the pace of moving. Isn't much that we're both asking. No, 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 no. No, 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 no.
Right, shut up.
Oh, that really hurt.